नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव
कुंज बिहारी।
गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी।
जय गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी।
यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन।
यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन।
यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन।
यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन।
यमुना तीर वनचारी।
यमुना तीर वनचारी।
यमुना तीर वनचारी। यमुना तीर वनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव
कुंज बिहारी।
गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन। यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन। यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन।
यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन।
यमुना तीर वनचारी।
यमुना तीर वनचारी।
यमुना तीर वनचारी।
यमुना तीर वनचारी।
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी।
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी।
गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी।
जय गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी।
यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन।
यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन।
यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन।
यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन।
यमुना तीर वनचारी।
यमुना तीर वनचारी।
यमुना तीर वनचारी।
यमुना तीर वनचारी।
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी।
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी।
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
जय राधा गोविंद राधा गोविंद राधा गोविंद श्री राधे।
जय राधा गोविंद राधा गोविंद राधा गोविंद श्री राधे।
जय निताय सचिनंदन गौर हरि। जय निताय सचिनंदन गौर हरि।
जय निताय सचिनंदन गौर हरि। जय निताय सचिनंदन गौर हरि।
जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा।
जय प्रभुपदा जय Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
Jai Vishnupad Paramahansa Paramahansa Shruta Shata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Shri Laisi Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki
Jai.
अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की
Jai.
नमाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की
Jai.
प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की
Jai.
श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की
Jai.
वृंदावन धाम की
Jai.
मथुरा धाम की
Jai.
जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की
Jai.
गंगा माई की
Jai.
यमुना माई की
Jai.
तुलसी देवी की
Jai.
भक्ति देवी की
Jai.
सामवेद भक्त वृंद की
Jai.
All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine. Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Sarvam Shri Krishnarpanamastu. Krishne Madhirastu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So, we are going to read from chapter 10 today. We are starting chapter 10. So, we have, until now, we have finished 9 chapters. So, even if I look at this book, I was looking at this, it actually looks half as well, really. And it is actually halfway through.
Yeah,
Bhagavad-Gita
9
as well.
chapters.
9 chapters. So, it's really amazing that we are able to do this. It does not matter, the number of people does not matter. What matters is the people who are here, you know, when we have that devotion, that is all that is needed, really. Like, at the end of the day, the relationship is between us and the Supreme Person. So that relationship is eternally there. It is not like the relationship that we have based on the body. So on the basis of body, the relationships come into existence when we take birth, and then it is there until we die. But the relationship with the Supreme Person, Sri Kṛṣṇa, it is something that is the most natural part of our existence. So engaging in these activities should actually be very natural. You know, it should be that 24 hours the mind is always absorbed in Krishna. That is a natural position. But somehow or other, because since time immemorial we have been in this material world with lots and lots of material desires, so what is the most natural thing for us does not seem natural anymore. It feels artificial. That why are we like you know, if we look at for example, it's a very sunny day today, and you know, we could have been doing so many hundreds of other different things today because sun is not out commonly in Ireland, but we have still chosen to engage in this discussion of Bhagavad-Gita. So that means there is some costless mercy of the Lord on all of us, that somehow or other we have this inclination to engage in hearing about Krishna, Krishna's talks in Bhagavad-Gita. So we can have a quick synopsis of the first, so the 9 chapters. So the first, chapter 1 started with Arjuna Vishada Yoga, which is that Arjuna was feeling that I should not fight, and then he actually said to Krishna that I am becoming your disciple now and I am surrendering onto you. Shishyasteham sadhi mam tvam prapannam. So then in the second chapter there is Sankhya Yoga, which talks about the different elements. So Purusha and Prakriti. So Purusha is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Prakriti is what we are. So our external is the apara prakriti and our internal is the para prakriti, the inferior energy and the superior energy. So the Sankhya Yoga talks about the different elements. Then we have Karma Yoga, which talks about the importance of engaging in activity without too much, without being motivated by the results. So it's not that we don't have goals. We have goals, we work towards the goals. But if the result is not achieved, we don't become dejected. We keep working towards the goal. So that is Karma Yoga. Then there is Jnana Yoga, which is the knowledge about the Supreme. Then Sannyasa Yoga, which is renunciation. Then there is Dhyana Yoga, which is the sixth. Dhyana is meditation. So Kṛṣṇa was talking about how one can meditate, different ways of meditating. Then we had the Vijnana Yoga, which was the practical application. So Jnana is there, but then Vijnana should also be there, the practical application of the knowledge. Then we had Akshara Brahma Yoga, which is the 8th chapter. The Akshara Brahma was about Kshara and Akshara. The Akshara is the spiritual abode and Kshara is the material world from Brahmaloka onwards. And then the last chapter that we discussed was about Raja Vidya Raja Guhya. That is the 9th chapter. So that was about the confidential knowledge, the Kṛṣṇa. And the confidential knowledge ended by Kṛṣṇa actually saying Manmana Bhava Madbhakto. If you look at the last verse of the 9th chapter, Kṛṣṇa was talking about Manmana Bhava Madbhakto Madhyaji Mam Namaskuru Mami Vaishyasi Yuktvayo Atmanam Matparayana. So think of me, become my devotee, offer your obeisances to me, offer your prayers to me. When you are totally absorbed in me, you will come back to me. So that is what Kṛṣṇa said that was the 9th chapter. That is the confidential knowledge. Now this is Vibhuti Vistar Yoga, the opulence of the absolute. So Vibhuti Vistar means the different powers of Supreme Personality of Godhead, and how is that opulence distributed everywhere of the Supreme Person. So that is what this chapter is. So we'll read the first text here. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Bhuya eva mahabaho.
Bhuya eva mahabaho.
Shrunu me paramam vachah.
Shrunu me paramam vachah.
Yatteham priyamanaya.
Yatteham priyamanaya.
Vakshyami hitakamyaya.
Vakshyami hitakamyaya.
So word by word, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said.
Bhuyaha.
Bhuyaha.
Again. Eva. Certainly. Mahabaho.
Mahabaho.
O mighty armed.
O mighty armed.
Shrunu. Just here. Me. My. Paramam. Supreme. Vachaha. Instruction. Yat. That which. Te. To you. Aham. I. Priyamanaya. Thinking you dear to me. Vakshyami. Say. Hitakamyaya. For your benefit. So translation, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said.
Listen again. O mighty armed Arjuna. Because you are my dear friend. For your benefit. I shall speak. To you further. Giving knowledge. That is better. Than what I have already explained. So, Bhuya eva mahabaho. So, Bhuya means, if you look at the word by word translation here, Kṛṣṇa is mentioning about this Shrunu me paramam vacha. Shrunu is a very important word there. Shrunu means hearing. And what should we hear? So, what is Kṛṣṇa saying? Paramam vacha. Paramam means transcendental. It is not something that is material. So let us try and understand what is the difference between matter and transcendental, spirit. So matter is what it has no consciousness in itself, the matter. Okay, so for example, our body is material. What does it mean the body is material? That by itself, like for example, we always give this example in terms of a person. Like if I am in a living body now, and when I die, my body is still existing. So what is it missing between me as a living person and me as a dead person? So the body is still existing. So what is it that is missing? So it is that element of consciousness. So that consciousness is what we are. So each and every person in this whole universe, that is what is called I am Atma Brahma. That is a Veda Vakya which says that Aham Brahmasmi. For example, that is another Veda Vakya. Aham Brahmasmi means understanding that we are eternal. It is not that, when this body is born, I am born. It's not like that. When I say I, the real I is someone who is totally independent of this material existence. So, for example, at the moment, it is quite hot, right? And this generally doesn't happen in this country. So, when it is quite hot, people will crib about that thing. It is too hot. And then when it is not hot, people will crib about that as well, right? People will say there is no sun in this country. So this is the nature of this material world. We have whatever, and this is one of the challenges in material existence. In the material existence, one is never happy with what is the present state. That is unfortunate situation in the material world. So one is always thinking that there could be something better than the present state. So when one is thinking from that perspective, it is actually in a material existence. Because spiritual existence means acceptance. Whatever is the current condition, one is accepting it. That does not mean that one does not act according to what needs to be done. Right? So for example, if I am feeling hot now, I am accepting it is hot. But it does not mean that I will not do something to make myself a little bit cool. I will still do what needs to be done in terms of me being comfortable. But internally I know 100% that my existence is independent of this. So this is what So basically there is a Vyavaharika and Paramarthika. So Paramarthika is that understanding that we are always eternal. This is like a cloth. Kṛṣṇa actually gives the example that the body, he says, Vasamsi jirtani yatha vihaya navani grananti naroparani tatha shariraya vihaya jirnani anyani samyati navani dehi. So Kṛṣṇa says that just like we take off the old cloth and put on a new cloth, when the cloth becomes old, we put on a new cloth. Exactly in the same way, we as an eternal existence, when the body gets old or when it's time to go, this cloth of body is given up and another cloth is taken. Exactly the same way. So our original existence, so this is what Kṛṣṇa is saying. Yatteham priyamanaya. So first of all, paramam vacha. So we have to understand what is paramam vacha. The paramam is the supreme, the transcendental. And that transcendental understanding is this understanding that I am an eternal part and parcel of Kṛṣṇa. And he keeps on repeating this. Kṛṣṇa, the whole Bhagavad-Gita, the main thing one has to understand here is that our eternal relationship with Kṛṣṇa, that we are never separate from Kṛṣṇa. It is the separation from Kṛṣṇa is illusion, and when we are in that illusion, we are miserable. The miseries happen because we think that we are not with the Lord, but we are always with the Lord at every moment. So when we are in that state of existence, that is the real goal of human form of life. So some way or the other, if we can, yena tena prakarena mana Kṛṣṇe niveshayet. It is mentioned by Rupa Goswami. He is one of the saints who was. There are Shad Goswamis, 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is considered as Kṛṣṇa himself, Kṛṣṇaya Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya. So Rupa Goswami actually mentions that some way or the other fix the mind on Kṛṣṇa. And this particular chapter will actually help us to do that. And that's why Kṛṣṇa says that I'm giving you this knowledge that is better than what I have already explained. He says that Yatteham Priyamanaya Vakshyami Hitakamyaya. If you look at the next two lines, because you are very dear to me, Priyamanaya means you are very dear to me. I am telling this to you because it will benefit you. So there are two kinds of benefit that one can get at anything. One is called Shreya and one is called Preya. So Shreya means that which is ultimately beneficial for us, and Preya means that which is immediately gratifying us. So that is the difference. So, for example, the children, they might not want to go to school because they like playing. So they will say that I want to play the whole time, I don't want to go to school. So when they are saying that, the parent will say that no, you have to go to school because you will get education there. So the child does not understand what is ultimately beneficial for the child. But the parent knows that. A parent knows what is Shreya for the child, what is ultimately. But the child is interested only in Preya, the immediate gratification that one gets. So this is the biggest challenge that we have in this material existence. That we are always running after Preya. Immediately gratifying. But what is happening, that is again part of the chemical that we have in the body, dopamine. You heard about a dopamine chemical. What dopamine is? That reward giving chemical, right? So if I feel pleasure out of something, I will do it. Then if I want to get the same pleasure out of that activity, I'll have to do it more. Only then I'll get the same pleasure out of that. Is dopamine effect. Like for example, someone who started smoking, for example, right? So someone who started smoking, initially they won't like it, but they will somehow, because others are doing it, they might actually do it, and then they will start liking it, and then that liking has to multiply. How does one become a chain smoker, for example? From a normal smoker to a chain smoker, how does one become that? Because what is happening is one is feeling some kind of pleasure out of it, which is an artificial pleasure. We all know, it is actually causing harm to the person, but somehow or other they have taken to that pleasure, right? So now what is happening is, to get the same amount of pleasure, I have to multiply my activity. So that's how someone is becoming a chain smoker, right? So this is the problem with sense gratification, immediate gratification that we always Preya. The Preya problem is this, that we immediately get that, but then it does not stay. It just gives immediate satisfaction. So in order to get that satisfaction again, I have to keep working at it and keep doing more and more of it. So just imagine if we can have this inclination towards studying Bhagavad-Gita. So if someone is getting addicted to Bhagavad-Gita, that is an amazing addiction. That is an addiction that will make one come out of this material existence. So basically one will become purely blissful, irrespective of what is the external condition. It does not matter. And that bliss is Ramante Yoginah Anante. It is mentioned in the scriptures. A yogi, a person who has connected oneself with the Lord, is enjoying a bliss which is unlimited. It has no end. Like in this Yahi Sansparshaja Bhoga, in the material happiness, the so-called happiness that we get from material things, it is based on the sense coming in touch with the sense object. And it has got a beginning and an end. Kṛṣṇa says that Yahi Sansparshaja Bhoga Dukkha Yona Evate. And Kṛṣṇa actually says it is a womb of misery. An example is, one of the interesting examples is like someone, like, people becoming parent and children, right? The parent and child, the relationship is extremely strong. So that is giving the most satisfaction. But unfortunately, that itself is going to give the most misery as well. How is it going to give the most misery? When someone, for example, the child is not listening to the parent. The child is going against the parent. Or some separation is happening. So everyone has to leave the body, right? So everyone has to die. So at that time, there is such a huge misery, right? Such a huge sorrow. But the same relationship, when we are alive, was giving the most happiness. But when we're dying, it gives the most sorrow. So this is the contradictory nature. This is a paradox of this material existence. But our real bliss is independent of all these things. So this is what Kṛṣṇa is going to explain, and he's going to explain how we can connect to him, right? So that is what is this opulence of the absolute. So the next words will go, Name viduh suraganaha, Name viduh suraganaha, Prabhavam na maharshayah,
Prabhavam na maharshayah,
Aham adirhi devanam,
Aham adirhi devanam,
Maharshinam cha sarvashah,
Maharshinam cha sarvashah.
So the word by word, na,
Na,
never,
never,
me,
me,
my,
my,
viduh,
viduh,
no,
no,
suraganaha,
suraganaha,
the demigods,
the demigods,
Prabhavam,
Prabhavam,
origin.
origin.
Okay, here I'm origin opulences, origin and opulences. Na,
Na,
never,
never,
Maharushayah,
Maharshayah,
great sages.
great sages.
Aham,
Aham,
I am.
I am.
Adihi,
Adi,
the origin.
the origin.
He,
He,
certainly.
certainly.
Devanam,
Devanam,
of the demigods.
of the demigods.
Maharishinam,
Maharishinam,
of the great sages.
of the great sages.
Cha,
Cha,
also.
also.
Sarvashah,
Sarvashah,
in all respects.
in all respects.
The translation, neither the hosts of demigods,
Neither the hosts of demigods,
nor the great sages,
nor the great sages,
know my origin,
know my origin,
or opulences,
or opulences.
for
For,
in every respect,
in every respect,
I am the source
I am the source
of the demigods
of the demigods
and sages.
and sages.
So here Kṛṣṇa is describing about who can know him. So vidu means knowing. So he says, Kṛṣṇa says that Suragana means all the demigods, and Maharshaya is the great rishis. So he is saying that even the great rishis and the great demigods do not know the origin of my existence. Why? Because Aham Adirhi Devanam, because I am the origin of all the demigods and all the sages. So one of the examples that we see in Kṛṣṇa's own pastimes is there is this, Kṛṣṇa lifting the Govardhan hill with a small finger of his left hand. So what is the story behind it? Indra, right? Indra, there is a worship that the Vrajvasis were doing to Indra, and then Kṛṣṇa says that worship Govardhan because Govardhan is giving you everything. So then they start worshipping Govardhan, and then Indra becomes angry, and he sends in the Samvartaka cloud. So the cloud is bringing in this huge rain and flood and everything else, and then Kṛṣṇa is taking up the Govardhana hill. So what does this mean? That Indra is the king of heavens, like he's the king of all the other demigods, but he himself is not able to understand Kṛṣṇa. So he was trying to think that Kṛṣṇa is someone whom he can defeat, but he was not able to defeat, right? So this is the wonderful nature. Another example is that of Brahma himself. Brahma is the creator of this universe. So in terms of we see, and one of the interesting thing from the human perspective, the life of Brahma is 311.04 trillion years. There is a calculation of that. So there is 4.32 billion years is the day of Brahma, and 4.32 billion years is the night of Brahma. So 12 hours of Brahma is 4.32 billion of our years. So basically, if you look at like that, 12 months, 360 days, 12 months, 100 years, like that he lives. So overall, the calculation becomes 311.04 trillion years. So we see that the Brahma is at that position, but even Brahma wants to test Kṛṣṇa. So there is this story in Srimad Bhagavatam in Kṛṣṇa's pastimes that Brahma steals the cowherd friends and the calves of Kṛṣṇa from Vrindavan, and then Kṛṣṇa himself becomes all those cowherd friends and calves, the gopas and the calves. And this story actually says that when Kṛṣṇa, so Brahma just stole for a second of his time, but whole year passed, So the difference, right? So the difference between Brahma's time and our time. So this, it is said that during that time when Kṛṣṇa himself expanded and Brahma said, how did this happen? I had stolen everything, but how come they are still here? So then he understands Kṛṣṇa is the Supreme Person, right? So then in that, what the story goes that when Kṛṣṇa expands like that, the parents of those gopas and the cows who are the mother of those calves, they are more affectionate to Kṛṣṇa who has expanded himself. So what does that mean? It means what this story is telling us is that our love for the Lord is the most intimate love. There can be no other love superior to it. Our love for the Lord, because that story is actually showing that. So all this, what we have to understand here is that Kṛṣṇa actually says that tasyaham sulabha partha nitya yuktasya yogina. So he says that all these great demigods and all the great sages cannot know me. But Kṛṣṇa, in another place, he says that I am very easily attained to someone. Who is that? Ananya cheta satatam yo mam smarati nityasha. 4 things. Ananya cheta means constantly through the mind. Satatam yo, again constantly one is doing. What one is doing? Mam smarati, remembering me. And what one is doing? Nityasha, again constantly. So that constant word is used in different ways.
Yes.
So Ananya is constant, Ananya Cheta, Satatam is constant, Mam Smarati, Nityasha is constant. Ananya Cheta, Satatam yo, Mam Smarati, Nityasha. Then what happens? Tasyaham Sulabha Partha. Kṛṣṇa says, O son of Pritha, O son of Kunti, for such a person I am very easily available. Why I am very easily available? Nitya Yuktasya Yogina. Because that person has been constantly in connection with me. I am easily available to such a person. So basically, at the end of the day, the whole point here is the desire. Do we actually have desire to uncover our lost relationship with Kṛṣṇa? Do we have the desire? So if we have the desire, then undoubtedly we will realize, we will know that Kṛṣṇa is present everywhere. He is present in the form of his energy. So then, even though we are not as great as the demigods or as great as the great rishis, but still we can have the best relationship with Kṛṣṇa and we can know Kṛṣṇa. To whatever extent we want to know Kṛṣṇa, we can know Kṛṣṇa. So this is what is the conclusion of verse 2. Then verse 3. Yo mam ajam anadincha, yo mam ajam anadincha, veti loka maheshwaram,
Veti loka maheshwaram,
asamudha samartyeshu,
asamudha samartyeshu,
sarva papa pramuchyate.
sarva papa pramuchyate.
Word by word, yaha,
Yaha,
anyone who,
anyone who,
mam, me,
me,
ajam,
unborn,
anadim, without beginning, cha, also, veti, knows,
loka,
of the planets, maha ishwaram, the Supreme Master, asammudaha, undeluded, saha, he, martyeshu, among those subject to death, sarva papaihi, for all sinful reactions, pramuchyate, is delivered. So translation, he who knows me as the unborn, as the beginningless, as the Supreme Lord, of all the worlds, he only, undeluded, among men, is freed from all sins. Okay, so here, so in the previous verse, Kṛṣṇa said that no one knows me, even the great demigods and the great sages don't know me because I am the origin of the great demigods and great sages. Now he is saying that how one has to know Krishna. So Yomam Ajam Anadim Cha. So one has to know Krishna as someone who is never born and who has no beginning. Anadi. Anadi and Ananta. So there are these two words. So there is Adi and Anta. Adi and so our body has got an Adi, beginning, and the body therefore has an Anta, end. But our original existence, which is consciousness, is Anadi. It has no beginning and it is Ananta. It has no end. Something that has no beginning will have no end. But something that has beginning will have an end. So here the Lord is, so one of the Vedic verses that is used to understand the difference between the Supreme Person and the living entities is, there is a verse called Nityo Nityanam. So the Lord is the Supreme Eternal and we are all the minute eternals. The Nityo Nityanam, Chetanas Chetananam. The Lord is the Supreme Consciousness and we are all the minute consciousness. Chetanas Chetananam. Eko Bahunam Yo Vidadati Kaman. So what that verse is saying that the Supreme Lord is the person who is helping others to satisfy their desires. So because the different living entities are in different phases in terms of their evolution. So some living entities would have lots and lots of material desires. And the very fact that we are in this material world means that we have material desires. That's why we have this material body. The reason we have this material body is because the material desires can be fulfilled only in material body. So if we had only pure spiritual desires, we'll have spiritual body in Goloka Vrindavan Dham. So this means that so basically the Lord, he is present. So he is present as Paramatma in the heart. So it is mentioned. So there are Vadanti Tattvavidas Tattvam Yadyanam Advayam Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagavaniti Shabdyate. It is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. The knowledge of the Supreme Person is known in three phases. The first phase is Brahman. Brahman is knowing ourselves as an eternal part and parcel of Krishna. There is Brahman, knowledge of Brahman. Then there is knowledge of Paramatma. The Lord as Paramatma. Paramatma is the Lord is present in the heart of all the living entities. So that is how he is Upadrashta and Anumanta. So as Paramatma, he is overseeing everything. So whatever, every moment, every desire that we have, the Lord knows. As Paramatma, he knows. And he has been with us since time immemorial. Since the time we have been taking birth, the Lord is always accompanying us. That is his costless mercy. And that's why that is another sense we are never separate from the Lord. As Paramatma, he is always present. So what this is doing is Upadrashta Anumanta. So the Lord gives a permission. So if some living entity is adamant to enjoy in a particular way, the Lord will give them the permission. We have taken this example before about a parent and an adult child. Leave about a child who is a small child, right? So they are very much dependent on the parent. But when the child becomes adult, they become independent, right? But after becoming adult, if the child is going in the wrong direction, and if the parent is saying that don't go in that direction, the adult child is independent anyhow. So they can disregard parents' instructions and they can continue to go in the wrong direction. So what will happen to them? They will suffer, right? They will do the wrong activities and they will suffer. So exactly the same way, the living entities like us, we are like the Lord as Paramatma. That is the voice of conscience that we have. We call conscience, right? So the conscience that is coming from Paramatma. And so if we are going to do something wrong, the voice will say, the Paramatma will say, don't do it. That is so he is Upadrashta, he is overseeing, but he is also Anumanta. He gives a permission as well. When does he give permission? If someone is adamant. You cannot control, right? So then he's gone. So if someone is wanting to go in the right direction, then there is no problem, right? But if someone is trying to go in the wrong direction and one is adamant, then at the end the Paramatma is Anumanta as well. The Paramatma gives a permission. Upadrashta Hanumanta cha Bharta. Bharta is the maintainer. So the Lord is a maintainer. Bhokta. The Lord is the actual enjoyer. So we think that we are the enjoyers, but actually Lord is the enjoyer. Because that is, so if you look at it from the perspective of the consciousness itself, can a dead body enjoy anything? Dead body will decompose, right? Dead body cannot enjoy anything. The whole enjoyment takes place when there is life in me. When I am a living person, I can enjoy, right? So, and what is the reason I am alive? Because I have consciousness. Very simple thing. And the consciousness is an integral part of the Lord. So that's why, that is the reason why we are saying Kṛṣṇa is the actual enjoyer. Because the direct part and parcel, we as the consciousness, the interesting thing about consciousness is that it is present, but it is not involved. Everything takes place because of consciousness, but consciousness itself does not get involved in it. So who is getting involved then? So it is a subtle body. So mana, buddhi and ahankar. So you've got this mind which has got feelings and all those emotions and everything. The buddhi, intelligent logic that it will decide, and then ahankar is the false ego. The false ego is the most subtle thing that we have, which is connecting me as an eternal living entity to my temporary body. So that false ego is what is connecting. So the Vedas, Katha Upanishad actually gives this example. Atma Lagnam Ratinam Vidhi Shariram Ratham Evacha Buddhim Tu Sarathim Vidhi Mana Pragraham Evacha Indriyani Hayanahur. So what it is saying is that the five, imagine a chariot which has 5 horses, and then there is a charioteer, and then the charioteer has got the reins towards the 5 horses, and then there is a passenger sitting in that chariot. So the Upanishad, Katha Upanishad gives this example that the chariot is the body. The chariot is the body. The person who is the passenger in the chariot is we as the consciousness, eternal consciousness. The person who is the charioteer, who is actually riding the chariot, is the buddhi, intelligence. The reins towards the horses is the mind. And the horses are the senses, the 5 senses: eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and the sense of touch. So basically, this example is given so that we understand that we are like as the passenger, the person is being driven by the charioteer. And so what does it mean? It means that the intelligence has got the power. Actual power is there in the intelligence. Because if intelligence is strong, person will actually go in the right direction. But if the uncontrolled mind is strong, then the person will go in the wrong direction. Because when the mind is not controlled, people will do various things which should not be done, and then they will suffer. Right? So this is so when we come back to this verse, so what Kṛṣṇa is saying here is that one has to understand Kṛṣṇa as Ajam and Anadil. He is not born, he has no beginning. He is Loka Maheshwaram, knowing Kṛṣṇa as the person who is actually the Ishvara, the controller of everything. So Bhoktaram Yajyatapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Suhridam Sarvabhutanam Gyatva Mam Shanti Mruchati. Kṛṣṇa mentions in Bhagavad-Gita how one can attain real peace. He gives the formula for real peace. He says that if you know these 3 things, the first thing is that the actual enjoyer is Kṛṣṇa, Bhoktaram of everything, of Yajna and Tapasa. Yajna is sacrifice and Tapasa is penances. So Kṛṣṇa is the actual enjoyer. Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. Kṛṣṇa is the actual proprietor of everything. So one of the examples that is given is that of say someone is staying in a house. How long will one stay in the house? Until one is alive, right? Even if one is owning the house, how long one will stay in the house? Until one is alive. So actually, the ownership is always of the Lord. Without the beginning, without the end, the ownership is of the Lord. So similarly, so that is what is Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. And then Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam. That Kṛṣṇa is the best friend of all the living entities. If someone knows these 3 things in truth, one attains real peace. So this is what, that is why here Krishna uses the word asamudha. Asamudha means one who is intelligent, one who is not bewildered. So even though martyeshu, even though we have got this body which dies, sarva papai pramuchyate, one gets free from all kinds of sinful reactions. How does one get free from all sinful reactions? Because one is established in the fact that I am eternal. We have given this example of a full self-driving car, right? So if someone is crossing the speed limit and the person is driving, then if the Garda catches, the penalty will be on the person who is driving. What will happen if it is a full self-driving car? There is no driver, right? So who is going to get the penalty? The person who is owning the car, they will get the penalty. But you're just taking a metaphor here, right? So what does this mean? It means that when we know that I am eternal, this is just an instrument that has been given to me, the body, then it does not matter. I won't get any kind of reaction. The reaction happens because I get invested. I think that I am doing this. So if I am doing this, then I will do everything nicely so that I get pious things back in return. And I always want pious things back in return because I want to enjoy. I never want negative credits for me, which is a good way of thinking. But unfortunately what happens is, in this material world, every action has some kind of negative reactions as well. We are kind of given this example, right? Like if you're cleaning, unknowingly we are killing some living entities. So it has got even though cleaning is a good thing to do, but unfortunately there are some negative implications. So the best way of doing any kind of activity is yajñārtha karmana. It is mentioned, Krishna mentions, do it as an offering of love to the Lord. So then there is no karma bandhana. Then there is no actions and reactions, and then we are free from all kinds of action and reaction. So that is what is sarva papai pramuchyate, verse 3. Then we go to the verse 4 and 5, which is combined here. So let's read both of these verses. Buddhir jnanam asammoha, buddhir jnanam asammoha, kṣama satyam dhamma shamaha,
kṣama satyam dhamma shamaha,
sukham dukkham bhavo abhavo,
sukham dukkham bhavo abhavo,
bhayam cha abhayam eva cha,
bhayam cha abhayam eva cha,
ahimsa samata tushtis,
ahimsa samata tushtis,
tapodanam yasho ayashah,
tapodanam yasho ayashah,
bhavanti bhava bhutanam,
bhavanti bhava bhutanam,
matta eva prithak vidha.
matta eva prithavidaha.
So the word buddhi,
Buddhihi,
intelligence,
intelligence,
jnanam,
jnanam,
knowledge,
knowledge,
asammoha,
asammoha,
freedom from doubt,
freedom from doubt,
kṣama,
kṣama,
forgiveness,
forgiveness,
satyam,
satyam,
truthfulness,
truthfulness,
dhammaha,
dhammaha,
control of the senses,
control of the senses,
shamaha,
shamaha,
control of the mind,
control of the mind,
sukham,
sukham,
happiness,
happiness,
dukkham,
dukkham,
distress,
distress,
bhavaha,
bhavaha,
birth,
birth,
abhavaha,
abhava,
death,
death,
bhayam,
bhayam,
fear,
fear,
cha,
cha,
also,
also,
abhayam,
abhayam,
fearlessness,
fearlessness,
eva,
eva,
also,
also,
cha,
cha,
and ahimsa,
ahimsa,
non-violence,
non-violence,
samata,
samata,
equilibrium,
equilibrium,
tushtihi,
tushtihi,
satisfaction,
satisfaction,
tapaha,
tapaha,
penance,
penance,
danam,
danam,
charity,
charity,
yashaha,
yashaha,
fame,
fame,
ayashaha,
ayashaha,
infamy,
infamy,
bhavanti,
bhavanti,
come about, bhavaha,
bhavaha,
natures,
natures,
bhutanam,
bhutanam,
of living entities,
of living entities,
mattaha,
mattaha,
from me,
eva,
eva, certainly,
certainly,
prithak vidaha,
pruthakvidaha,
variously arranged.
variously arranged.
Translation: intelligence,
Intelligence,
knowledge,
knowledge,
freedom from doubt
freedom from doubt
and delusion,
and delusion,
forgiveness,
forgiveness,
truthfulness,
truthfulness,
control of the senses,
control of the senses,
control of the mind,
control of the mind,
happiness and distress,
happiness and distress,
birth,
birth,
death,
death,
fear,
fear,
fearlessness,
fearlessness,
non-violence,
non-violence,
equanimity,
equanimity,
satisfaction,
satisfaction,
austerity,
austerity,
charity,
charity,
fame and infamy,
fame and infamy,
all these various qualities
all these various qualities
of living beings
of living beings
are created
are created
by me alone.
by me alone.
So this is an interesting verse. It's a combination of two verses that are discussed here, and it is talking about. It's kind of amazing, isn't it? How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Right? There are 13 qualities in the first in the verse 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9. Okay, so no, 8. 1, 2, 3. So ahimsa, samata, tushti, tapodanam, yasho, ayasha. Bhavanti bhav. So that is 6. So basically 13 and 6. So there are 19 qualities. And it's really interesting, even if you look at, let's look at each of those qualities that Kṛṣṇa is mentioning there. So buddhi, knowledge, jnanam. So buddhi is intelligence and jnanam is knowledge. And then asammoha. Asammoha is freedom from doubt and delusion. So these three, let us look at these three: intelligence, knowledge, and freedom from doubt and delusion. So these three are extremely important. So as we were discussing, buddhi is the charioteer, right? So buddhi is the intelligence is really powerful there, in the sense that if the intelligence is strong, we will go in the right direction. If the intelligence is weak, if we are controlled by the senses, if we are controlled by the mind, unfortunately we'll go in the wrong direction. If we are controlled by the intelligence, then we'll go in the right direction. Because intelligence knows what is right and what is wrong. The mind does not think about what is right and what is wrong. The mind just wants to, this is what, there is a beautiful verse, Uddhared atman atmanam natmanam vasade atmaiva hyatmano bandhur atmaiva rituratmana. Beautiful verse. Kṛṣṇa says, raise your mind through the mind. So basically, we got a lower mind and a higher mind. So the lower mind is a mind which is running after the sense objects. The higher mind is a mind which can be controlled. So basically the higher mind is under the influence of intelligence. So it can be controlled. But the lower mind is just cannot be controlled. So Kṛṣṇa says, Uddhared atman atmanam natmanam atmaiva hyatmano bandhur. Kṛṣṇa says that mind itself is a friend of living entity and mind itself is the enemy. When is the mind friend of living entity? When it is under our control. Then it is our friend. When it is enemy, when it is not under our control. Just like if you look at the example of the chariot, when is the chariot actually under control? And the charioteer pulls the reins of the horses in a proper way. If you look at the modern analogy, the steering wheel, right? If this is one of the things that when you're learning driving, the driving instructor will actually inform the most important thing that you have to concentrate on is steering wheel. You have to have control over the steering wheel. If you have not control the steering wheel, the car will go and crash anywhere, right? So in the modern analogy, that is what. So basically, the steering wheel is like that reins for the horses, right? So and the person who is driving the car is like the intelligence. So the intelligence has to be strong, and the steering wheel has to be strong as well, right? If steering wheel is coming out, you cannot drive the car properly. So basically, what we are trying to understand here is this first three things that Kṛṣṇa mentions here: buddhi, jnana, and asammoha. So when we have intelligence, then we use the knowledge in proper way. When we use the knowledge in proper way, we become free from doubts and delusions. So that is the three things. Then Kṣama Satyam Dama Shama. The second line, Kṣama, forgiveness, Satyam, truthfulness, Dama, control of the senses, and Shama, control of the mind. So Kṣama is extremely important. Kṣama actually can mean patience as well. Here the translation is given as forgiveness, but Kṣama also can mean patience. So Kṣama, patience, forbearance. This is Sadhavo Sadhubhushanam. Titikshava Karunika Suhradam Sarvadehinam Ajata Shatrava Shanta. There is a beautiful verse in Srimad Bhagavatam. It talks about what are the qualities. Just like people who are very pompous, people who are very rich, they would like to show their jewelry, right? I have this wonderful diamond, millions of dollars worth diamond, and I will show it. So that's the jewelry that they are showing because they are very rich. But what is the jewelry of a person who is saintly? It is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. Titikshava. Titikshava means forbearance. Karunika, compassionate. Suhridam Sarvadehinam, best friend of everyone. It does not matter if someone is antagonistic to them, they still have compassion for them. They even for an enemy they have compassion. Titikshava Karunika Suhridam Sarvadehinam. And then the next one very beautifully follows the previous one. Ajata Shatrava. Ajata Shatru is enemy. Ajata means not born. So for this person there is no enemy born. What does it mean? The person does not consider an actual enemy also as an enemy. Ajata Shatrava, Shanta, very peaceful. These are all the Sadhu Bhushana. These are the jewelries that a saintly person wears. So very beautiful words. So these are what the jewelries that are mentioned here, right? Kṣama, Satyam, Dama, Shama. And so when we have this, then the situation will never matter. For example, if we have patience, Kṣama, forgiveness and patience, then sometimes one might go through very difficult situations in life, but because one has Kṣama, forgiveness, one will go through that. It won't, like someone who their mind is not under control, even very small things will cause them a lot of trouble. But someone who is very controlled, very peaceful, even the greatest problems will not cause any trouble to the person, because they are calm inside. They know that this too shall pass. Nothing is going to be permanent. So that is what is. Then sukham, dukham, bhavo, abhavo. So here the opposites are there, right? If in the third line, if you look at that, there is sukham, but then there is dukham. And then there is bhavo, abhavo. So there is birth and then there is death. Bhayam cha abhayam. There is fear and then there is fearlessness. So Kṛṣṇa says all this I am. So even mrityu sarva haraschaham. Kṛṣṇa says that I come as death. So if someone is really purely in love with the Lord, death is not going to trouble them, because Kṛṣṇa says I come as death. So it's really wonderful. So this is that knowledge which will liberate one even while living in this body. There is this beautiful verse in Srimad Bhagavatam. It says, Iha yasya Hare dasya. So even while living in this body, if one is Hari Dasa, one is as a servant of Sri Hari, Sri Kṛṣṇa, Karmana Manasa Gira. How does one serve the Lord? Karmana through activities, Manasa through mind, and Gira through speech. Through the body, mind and speech. Nikhilashva api avasthasu jivan muktasa uchyate. What that verse mentions is, even while remaining in this material world, one is free from this material world. Padma patra ivambhasa. Another example that is given is that of the lotus that stays, sometimes it is in the filthy water, but it never gets affected by the filth. Because it's kind of really interesting metaphor, right? It's a very beautiful flower, the petal. Like when the Lord is described, he is Namo Pankaja Netraya, Namo Pankaja Maline, Namaste Pankaja Angraye. Whenever the Lord's parts are described, it is described as a lotus. So Padmaja. For example, Lakshmi Devi, is born from lotus. So she's called Padmaja. So the lotus has got a huge significance in that sense. Very beautiful. Unfortunately, sometimes it is in a filthy water, but it is never affected by the filth that surrounds it. Exactly that is our situation as well. Like we might be in very difficult situations, but originally we are totally untouched by everything. As an eternal part and parcel of Kṛṣṇa, we are never touched by anything. What is getting touched is due to ignorance. Because I think that I am this external, everything affects me. But if I know that this is a tool, do we get affected when something happens to our tool? We do not get affected. The tool gets affected. Exactly in the same way. So this is acknowledged. And then in the next verse, the verse 5, Ahimsa Samata Tushtis. Very beautiful words there. Ahimsa, non-violence. Samata is equanimity. Tushti is satisfaction. Then Tapo Danam Yasho Ayasha. Tapa is austerity. Danam is when one is giving things. Yasha is fame, and Ayasha is infamy. So Kṛṣṇa actually says that he is the infamy as well. So sometimes what happens is we only take the positive things and then says that is the Lord. But the Lord says, I am everything. So if the Lord is everything, how can one ever forget the Lord? In what circumstances can one ever forget the Lord? So this is what is Vibhuti Vistar. So in that sense, he is explaining about his Vibhuti, which is his potencies, which is expanded everywhere. And he is there in everywhere in that sense. There is one particular verse, and then after that we'll kind of conclude this discussion. Kṛṣṇa talks about Maya Tatam Idam Sarvam, Jagad Avyakta Murtina, Mat Sthani Sarva Bhutani Na Chaham Teshu Avastita. So Kṛṣṇa says that by me, in my unmanifested form, I am pervaded everywhere. Like for example, the body that we have, it is made up of earth, water, fire, air and space. That is the gross body that we have. Then the subtle body we have, the mind, intelligence and false ego. Kṛṣṇa says that is my inferior energy. And then Kṛṣṇa says the superior energy is the living entity, the actual consciousness that we have. So it is energy of the Lord. Energy of the Lord. So basically, one of the examples that is given is that of Ekadesha Sthitas Agnir Jyotsna Vistarini Yatha Parasya Brahmana Shaktir Tatedam Akhilam Jagat. What it means is, just like for example, the sun is so far from us, right? But the sun's light and sun's heat is coming to us. So in that sense, we are in touch with the sun. But if we actually go to the sun, we cannot go to the sun planet. We'll get burnt. In this particular body, we'll get burnt. So sun is far, but we can experience its light and heat. Exactly in the same way, the Lord is Goloka Eva Nivasati Akhilatma Bhuto. It is mentioned in the Brahma Samhita that the supreme personality of Godhead is in Goloka Vrindavan Dham. But he is expanding in the form of his energy and is present everywhere. So simultaneously one and different. Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva, it is said. So simultaneously the Lord is present, and simultaneously he is present as the supreme absolute truth, supreme personality of Godhead in Goloka Vrindavan Dham. And this is what we'll get to know more in the Vibhuti Vistar Yoga shlokas when we discuss this. So thank you very much for listening. If there is any comments or questions, we can discuss. Srimad Bhagavad-Gita ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Anything to discuss? Any comments or questions? No? Okay. So we'll sing the Narasimha Pranam Mantra. Namaste Narasimhaya, Namaste Narasimhaya, Saradhalada Daine, Saradhalada Hiranyakashi Purvaksha, Hiranyakashi Purvaksha, Shilatanthanathalaye, Ito Narsimho Parato Narsimho, Ito Narsimho Parato Narsimho, Yato Yato Yami Tato Narsimho, Yato Yato Yami Tato Narsimho, Bahir Narsimho Hridaye Narsimho, Bahir Narsimho Hridaye Narsimho, नरसिंहमादिं शरणं प्रपद्ये
नरसिंहमदिं शरणं प्रपद्ये
तव करकमलवरे नथा अद्भुतशृङ्ग दलिता हिरण्यकशिपु तनुभृङ्ग केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे तव करकमलवरे
अद्भुतशृङ्गा दलिता हिरण्यकशिपो तनुभृङ्गम् केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे
जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव
जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव
जय नरहरि जय नरहरि जय नरहरि जय नरहरि
जय नरहरि जय नरहरि जय नरहरि जय नरहरि
जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय भक्त प्रहलाद जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय भक्त प्रहलाद
जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय भक्त प्रहलाद जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय भक्त प्रहलाद
हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल जय गौरा हरि बोल
जय गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल जय गौरा हरि बोल
नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय प्रहलाद महाराज की जय All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna
All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna
All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna
All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Guru, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarane. Sarvam Shri Krishna Pranastu Krishne Matirastu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna
Thank you very much.